everybody, it's me, Jose Segura, your SMEEA president. Welcome to another episode of Fireside Chat with the President. Happy Friday, everybody. Congratulations. And made it to the end of the week. Hope you're all looking forward to a really relaxing and enjoyable weekend. Before we get to that, let's go ahead and get through our Fireside Chat for this Friday. Now, we have 5 things to cover, so let's get started. First thing we want to talk about is close contact. Been getting a lot of questions about this, emails and such. What is a close contact? Am I a close contact? My students are close contacts. Why aren't they being sent home? And so on. And so really what I want to do is kind of shed some light on this, give some facts about close contacts, hopefully lighten the confusion a little bit by providing some facts, and hopefully that will lighten the frustration that some of you are having about what is and what is not considered a close contact. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with this. I'm not an expert on public health, so let's just get that out of the way right now. And because I'm not an expert in public health, I rely on the public health experts for the information. And so what I'm about to deliver to you is coming straight from both the Santa Barbara County Department of Public Health as well as the California Department of Public Health, and even the CDC. And so, again, not an expert in public health, so please double, triple check anything I tell you today to make sure that you know what's the what, and you're not just taking my word for it. All right, okay, so then what is a close contact? So here's the definition of a close contact. A close contact is someone who has spent at least 15 minutes or more in the past 24 hours within 6 feet of someone who has tested positive for COVID. And that's important there. So not just within 6 feet, not just 15 minutes, but that person also has to have tested positive for COVID-19. So a close contact is someone who had direct exposure to a person who has tested positive for COVID-19. Like I said, within 6 feet, 15 minutes or more, which would also mean that someone who has been exposed to someone who is exposed to someone who tested positive for COVID-19, but they themselves did not have direct exposure, not considered a close contact, right? So let's try some examples. So let's do this. Here's my first example. So let's say I test positive for COVID-19. Those people in my home, like my wife, they would be considered my close contacts. I mean, assuming I was within 15 minutes of her, I was within 6 feet of her for 15 minutes or more, which hopefully I am, right? So my wife would be considered my close contact because I had tested positive for COVID. If my wife goes to work and is around her coworkers and her students, those coworkers and students would not be considered a close contact because they were not in close contact with me, the person who tested positive. That's true as long as my wife is asymptomatic and does not herself test positive for COVID-19. Okay, so let's take that example and let's apply it to our schools. So, a parent of your student tests positive for COVID-19. Your student is considered a close contact, right? They're probably within 6 feet of that person, of their parent, for 15 minutes or more. You and the other students in the classroom, though, are not considered a close contact. That's because you did not have direct contact with the parent of your student who tested positive. This is especially true for schools because everyone on campus is masked up while indoors, all staff and students. So this simple act greatly reduces the possibility of transmission. Okay, so let's get back to the example. If the actual student tests positive for COVID-19, then everyone at the school who meets the close contact definition is considered a close contact. Again, within 6 feet, 15 minutes or more, in those two criteria with someone who has tested positive for COVID. So if the student tests positive, those of you at school could be considered close contacts. That could include the teacher, include the other students. Okay, so if the teacher tests positive for COVID-19, then the same rules apply. Everyone meeting the definition of close contact will be considered a close contact. Everyone who doesn't, won't. All right, so hopefully that clarifies for you what a close contact is. It may not be the definition you were hoping for. It may not be the criteria you think it should be, but that is what the public health experts are telling us. When I say us, I mean our employer and everybody really who runs a business or who is out in the community. This is what they're telling us is a close contact. Now keep in mind, we work in public schools, right? So our our level of defenses against COVID are much higher than the average bear, right? Everybody is supposed to be masked in our campuses, so there's a lot of mask-to-mask communication. Lots and lots of our folks on campuses have been vaccinated, so the vaccination rate for teachers and even district employees in general is much higher than you see in the general community. And so all those things collectively, of course, we're washing hands and that kind of stuff, we're cleaning surfaces. Those things collectively are helping to reduce the possibility of transmission in the school. And that's really important. Even though we've had a lot of cases recently, we don't have any cases of transmissions in the school from student to student, student to adult, adult to students, or adult to adult. And so that's super important. Now, there is a possible game changer coming down the road, and that is the rapid COVID test. So the rapid COVID test is a test that can be administered at the school by somebody who's trained to do so. The test takes just a few minutes to get results. Think of it like as a home pregnancy test. It really is that kind of a test. And when this test is available, it can be a game changer because it can help determine which close contacts are actually positive and which are not. This could keep kids in school instead of quarantining them right away. And yes, the rapid test is not as accurate as the PCR test, but with continued mask wearing and hand washing again, right, as well as the level of vaccinations that we see in our school districts, along with follow-up PCR testing, it could be the difference between quarantining an entire class or not. So, the important stuff. So this may or may not be good answers for some of you. It may not be the information we're looking for, but it's what the public health experts are telling us. Now, go back to the email this video was attached to. You'll see 3 infographics. There are 2 of them come from Santa Barbara County Department of Health. The third one comes from Orchid School District, which is designed off of what the Santa Barbara County Department of Health generated. It's a nice visual flow chart of if this, then what kind of a thing. So it gives you multiple scenarios about close contact. So remember, keep in mind the definition for what a close contact is as you look at those infographics. All right, there's that. Again, please double, triple check anything that I've just said because I am not a public health expert. Next thing, another reminder about the Labor Day picnic next Friday. This is going to be on September the 3rd from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Pioneer Park out here in Santa Maria, close to the airport. This is a completely outdoor event, which is great, and it's a good opportunity to come out, free food and activities and games and prizes and lots of stuff. It's just a really great outdoor event here in Santa Maria Valley. Pioneer Park, if you haven't been out there, it's a great big place. Lots of space to spread out, lots of grass, benches, all kinds of stuff. So you can come out, get some free food, say hi to some folks, come out with coworkers as a grade level, as a class, as a site, just as a department. It's open to the family and other people in the community, so it's not just us because we're teachers and not just other folks who belong to labor organizations, but it is a community event. All I ask is that you go back to the email this video is attached to, go down to the big red button and click on it. Let us know you're coming and how many so that we can give those numbers to the organizers so they can make sure there's plenty of food and stuff for everyone who's going to be out there. If you come out, I'll see you because I will be there, mask on and all. All right, so that is the Labor Day picnic on September 3rd, which is next Friday, 3:30 to 6:30. Now let's talk about class size because class size matters. All right, so this is the time of year, kids coming back, class sizes, we're taking a look at the information. I am now getting regular reports on enrollment so I can see what class sizes are like in every class across our district. I'm taking that information, I'm making my own list of where classes are out of whack. And there's some of the classes in our district that were just insanely large. And district is doing the same thing. I actually met with Bijou Beltran on Monday, and we went over her list and my list, and the majority of it crossed over, so we're seeing the same things. Talked about remedies to bring these class sizes down. There are a few choices, right? You can, of course, hire more teachers. That's always an option. You can also move kids around. So like within a grade level, for example, you can shift kids to balance classes out. So instead of having some small classes and big classes within the same grade level, you can move some students to balance them out so everybody is under the class size maximum for whatever that grade level happens to be. You can also overflow kids, take kids from one school, move them to another, take from big classes at school A to small classes at school B, and that way, instead of having big classes here and small classes there, you're going to balance them out so that now we have class sizes that are all under the the class size maximum. So that's another option. And then, of course, a fourth option would be to create combo classes. Pick a few kids from here and a few kids from there in these large classes, create a combo class, and then everybody comes down to below caps, class size caps. And of course, the last option is to move folks either from one grade level to another within the school site. So collapsing down a grade level, let's say from 4 sections or classes down to 3, and then taking that fourth person, moving them to another grade level that's really big, and that way it lowers the class sizes there. Or moving one person from one site to another to do the same thing, collapse the number of classes at a site, move a teacher from one site to another in order to create a new class or a new section. That's also a possibility. Now, these last two possibilities are ones we try to avoid, but sometimes those are the only real options. So the district has done some overflowing. They have moved kids within the grade level to balance out classes. They've done all these things. No combos have been created, but we are moving some teachers. So there's maybe a handful of teachers at the most who are being moved from one site to another, or from one grade to another within their site, in order to balance our classes out, right? So our goals are always to keep classes as small as possible, but definitely below the maximum for your grade level. So TK3, your maximums are 32, 4, 5, and 6, your maximums are 35. We don't have any max caps for our junior highs, but I look at those numbers also to kind of get an idea of how big or small some of those classes are, have conversations with the district about how we might be able to balance that out. All right, so all the class size issues should be remedied by Monday. And so if you're still having class size issues, please get a hold of me. If your classes are over the cap for your grade level, please contact me right away so that I can start working with the district to remedy that. All right, thanks a lot. Okay, so from that, let's go to SMEEA store. So we've been talking about this for a while. Our SMEEA store will be opening up here pretty soon. In fact, next week. So be prepared for a separate email that's just going to be the announcement for the SMEEA store opening, and also information about how you can order SMEEA gear. And we have tons of great stuff, right? We have long sleeve t-shirts, and we have short sleeve t-shirts, and we got zipper hoodies, quarter pullovers, zip pullovers. Look at this guy. I love this guy. Right? Windbreakers. Heck, we even have SMEEA throw blankets with our logo on it. We got all kinds of stuff, right? SMEEA hats and so on. Tons of stuff, right? We are also adding new items to our SMEEA store. So we took an informal survey. We talked to folks, hey, what do you want to see in the SMEEA pop-up store? And we got some really great suggestions, things like baseball jerseys and stuff like that. Dry fit type t-shirts and shirts for those folks who are outdoors people, especially like our PE teachers. And so look for a bunch of brand new stuff in our SMEEA store when the announcement comes out next week. Last but not least, PD4Me. PD4Me is back. Now we're in the process of determining which PD4Me classes are going to be, programs are going to be offered. If you're not aware or familiar with PD4Me, new to the district, PD4Me is personal development for member engagement. These are activities, classes, clubs, workshops, and events that are just for you. PD4Me are completely free to our members. They include things like exercise classes, yoga classes, beer clubs, movie clubs, hiking groups, bowling events, kayaking excursions, and just all kinds of fun stuff. So we're in the process of organizing our PD4Me's for this first half of the year, and we will get that out to you as soon as possible, hopefully by the end of next week, so you can start signing up for stuff. Again, all PD4Me's are free to all of our members. So if it's an exercise class, there's no charge for you to participate. If it's the movie club, we buy the ticket. If it's the beer club, we buy the first round. If it's a kayaking excursion, we pay for the kayak rentals and that kind of thing. So all PD4Me's are free to members, and we will hopefully have an announcement coming out soon. All right. Hey, thanks everybody. I appreciate your time. I really, really do. Have a great, great, great weekend, and we will see you all soon. Bye, everybody.